Hi everybody, Wardenator here. Just wanted to talk to you guys today about your CO2, your 30 parts per millionth basically that you want to have inside your tank. I think that's the general rule for every size tank. It's just how much CO2 you get diffused into your water, depending on the size of your tank, is the trick. Now what I did today is these little fluval diffusers here. This particular style, you can actually just break that little black piece apart. It unscrews and you can replace the pucks or the ceramic diffusers in them. So now you see I'm getting lots of flow here. And I went out today and I bought the fluval drop checker. I don't know how well you guys can see this because I'm getting light into the camera here. You can't really see the color of the fluid, but it's kind of lighter on the top. You can see a little bit of blue on the bottom because the liquid here, indicated here on the top, is actually starting to turn yellow. Like this camera is not picking it up, but to my eye it's starting to turn yellow green. So it takes about 2 hours for basically any drop checker to give you your readout. So what I'm going to do, since I changed the diffuser today and I knew my levels were getting a little bit low because I'm starting to get a little bit of brush algae and stuff on there, and that's basically every day when this thing fires up. It was being held back by all the algae and everything that grows in there. Plus I find my snails like to go and sit on top of it sometimes and eat, or they just hang out on top of it. Basically anything that I put in here, my apple snails like to go check out right away. They seem pretty curious little beings sometimes. And another recommendation too is if you have apple snails pretty much bigger than this, they're quite heavy, they will climb on things like this and dislodge them. I had to go with a different suction cup than the one it came with because it just kept popping off and rising to the top. Then when I did get it to stick, one of my snails got on there and somehow dislodged it, so I just put one of the black ones on. I have a whole bunch of them kicking around, basically just leftover stuff from my my filter kit and set. So I just want to talk about that today. I never really ever measured since I set up this tank. And I just happened to luck out and everything seems to be good. Like I said, every day this unit is timed, so that's how fast. This is a 66 gallon tank. And that's basically, if you guys can count this, that's my bubbles per minute. So like I said, when your line, in one of my previous videos, when your line is done and at the end of the night and it's, you know, there's no more CO2 in it, when this unit fires up, these bubbles will actually be in a more rapid succession until the line itself fills up and creates a little bit of back pressure on it when it hits the disc, of course. Then what happens is it slows down to this bubble count. It does this every day. So what I'm doing, I'm very confident that my tank is running pretty good. Like I said, I just changed the diffuser over here. I'm getting a lot more CO2 diffused into the tank. I like to set it up right underneath this fan here, and you can see the fan's just blowing that out. Not only that, this is probably not the greatest thing to do for your canister, but I used a fluval sifter here on the top, and I actually connected this to the intake on my this goes to my canister filter. And see, the problem is once you start sucking too much air and bubbles in here, is you start blowing air into your canister filter, so I'll hear it bubble and burp later. And it's something that I don't mind doing. It's kind of annoying, but I keep doing it. It's supposed to be hooked up to the 110 here. There's my big mess, all my plants and whatnot. I found it was just too close and there's too much water coming off here, and I find that all the particles get pushed out here and over here more as opposed to over here. So everything likes to come out and over here and flow this way. So everything gets eventually sucked over into here on the top of the water, and then as you can see I've got crystal clear water, no debris on the top. It all gets sucked down into there, into the canister. And actually I don't clean my canister filter out probably for about maybe 3-4 months at a time. It was just cleaned recently. I just cleaned everything, so That's why I decided to go out and change my diffuser. Now I'm getting good diffusion of CO2 in here, everything, and I wanted to use my this drop checker just to see what my levels are. If you keep your levels and you don't play with your levels too much, and you're not constantly adjusting this little dial, you will get a steady, whether it's too much or not, you won't get too much of an algae problem, because that's basically what happens is you keep fluctuating CO2 up and down too much, and you're gonna get beard algae. Now I haven't had a problem with beard algae in this tank for a long time. I got a little bit when it first started up, and everything in here is mint. Look at my crypts. My crypts are doing really good. There's lots of roots and stuff. It's another thing I wanted to talk about too, is my substrate. Actually, when I first dirted this tank, I had a nice probably about 4-inch thick level of dirt in here and everything else. But what I didn't do when I set this thing up is I didn't soak the dirt and make sure it was wet before I poured all the fluoride on top of it. So basically what happened after about 6 months of running was gas would build up in here, and then it's pushing all the fines out. Now this is the reason why you want to make sure you get everything the first time, because all this stuff here keeps bubbling up to the substrate. You can see all the dirt, you can see air in here and gases trapped inside the substrate, and that's not really a good healthy thing, because it'll trap bad gases. Certain things you don't want in there. If I aerate this or poke this with a stick, bubbles will come up, and the smell from them doesn't smell too good. It smells pretty rotten. As of right now, everything's still doing good. I try to poke and aerate this as much as possible, especially in this corner. You can see where it's come up. I've got a lot of dead fall and dead leaves in here, and the roots. This plant's actually almost popped right out. I just take a vacuum and sift what I can off the rocks. Now this originally was banked probably about this high at one time. Now we've gone down probably about a good 2-3 inches here. So lots of things I've been playing with in this tank, and I've been, you know, trying not to destroy it. I removed one of the swords out here that I had just in behind here, just behind these crypts in this corner. I didn't expect the swords to skyrocket the way they did, and some swords I bought turned into different swords. So I bought you know, this ocelot sword here, and it had the nice thin stalks with the little round leaves on the end, and now they're just like these swords here. They got the long leaves. So I don't know why my swords change. They melt back down and they change to a different plant. Nobody's ever really given me that explanation, and I can't really seem to find out why at my local fish places. So anyway, some of these swords, they're all just straight leaf. Now this sword here, when I bought it, was not this style of plant. It was another type of Amazon sword that had the nice round leaves on it. Once all those leaves came off, they started growing long, you know, spear-like leaves like these. So I don't know why they changed their shape or whatever. They're still growing. They're good plants. Like I said, the crypts are doing really good here. I got some there, and if bad boy get out of the way here, he likes to be in the limelight all the time. Here's my other set of crypts, and I think I've got more coming up through the substrate here on their own, spreading. I don't know if they do that, but and Ludwigia, and like I said, I have a little bit of brush algae here on these leaves, so that's what made me decide to go and change this. I don't think I was getting enough flow. It was slowly diminishing, and then that's going to cause these problems. So anyway, the drop checker. Now I'm going to leave this in here probably for, I don't know, I'm going to say a few days, just after the weekend here. I don't think you need to leave these in here all the time, but since I changed everything, I want to monitor all my levels, and I want to see how much CO2 is in there, see if I'm putting in too much. Like I said, since I set this thing up from the first day, I've never touched anything on these dials, and like I said, I've set this up once. It's on a timer up there. It's timed. If you watch my other videos, that explains all that to you guys. I just wanted to make a video if you know, if people are running into the same problems and having the same things, you will have to run maintenance on your CO2 system. Like I said, those get plugged up. Your levels will change. You will get brush algae on some of the leaves like I got here. Things like that. And when you notice things like this happening, there's obviously, you know, like I said, this was being choked off. Levels were changing. That's the reason why I'm getting a bit of an algae bloom. Nothing major. Everything's looking good. But I bought the fluval drop checker to use, and of course I've had to modify it and use my own suction cups, because the ones they provide, like I said, the ones they provide for this and the ones they provided for this, that's not even the suction cup that comes with that unit, they never held. These things would always just come loose. Fluval, if you ever do catch a video or whatever, your suction cups suck, but your equipment's alright, I guess. So yeah, I'm going to give this a go. I'll make another video soon here, and let you guys know what the outcome is and how everything is running. But let's go over here. I took some, like I said, I took some of those swords out. The swords are sitting here. I can't remove this now because if you look here, I've got angel fry eggs on here. And this is Dad here. If you disturb him too much, he's gonna get mad and he'll probably eat all those eggs off the leaf if I make him too angry. Mama doesn't seem to care if I'm around too much. She was actually one of my first angel fry that I ever got. She was a baby that I raised. And this guy I got from a pet store. I never seen blue angels before, so I grabbed this guy, and hopefully with these two mating I will get a successful fry, and I will have silver blue angels kind of like this and yellow, or maybe a mix of the two. I don't know what I'm gonna get, but hopefully something really cool if I can get these guys to mate. Now this plant here is supposed to go to a friend of mine, but I don't think he's gonna get it until they're done with it, or I'm gonna pick that leaf off and stick it in another tank by itself or something. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do, but I just want to leave these guys alone and let them do their thing, which is the smart thing to do, because if I disturb them too much, Dad will eat the eggs. Anyway, I'm going to come back with another video here in a couple days, guys, so hopefully you enjoyed this one. It's not too shaky. If my camera works pissing you off, just let me know, and I'll try to rectify that maybe this Christmas with a nice new camera, an actual camcorder or something. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.